Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Protocol Watch, where we go down the rabbit hole to figure out what's happening in the standard developing organizations scene, as well as the activities that they do, the policies that they enact, the changes or the protocols that they put together and publish, as well as the other focus of Protocol Watch, which is to keep an eye on possible authoritarian moves from different actors in these SDOs. The reason why we do this is because we consider SDOs to be very effective choke points for the tech sector, and if you are able to capture any of them or bend it to your own whim, you will be able to affect not only how technology functions, also how users experience their technology and potentially infringe their rights. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a follow-up to the previous episode from last week, in which we had a look at the IETF, the Internet Engineering Task Force. We plan to have a look at their upcoming meeting that is scheduled to happen next week. I believe it's 20th to 26th, something along those lines. We'll just double check now. This is going to be IETF 120, and it will take place in Vancouver. We will be reviewing the structure of the event, what would be the topics that are going to be discussed, what are the working groups that are meeting, as well as the research groups that are meeting, what would be the most important elements that they might be discussing, and who you could be meeting in person if you can ever participate. We will also have a look at how to participate both in person and online, and pretty much go as deep as we can on the meeting itself in preparation. The AO Foundation will be there. I will be flying to Vancouver by the end of this week, and I should be there on Saturday morning when they start with the first activity, which is the hackathon and code sprint, as we will be seeing soon. Allow me to start sharing my screen. First of all, I'm going to be loading the IETF 120 meeting page, and we can start. So I'm going to share my screen, present, share screen. Please don't show these tips again, because it makes me just waste my time and everybody else's. Here, share, and share again. The amount of times that we need to press on the share button is quite substantial. All right. Before I proceed, just letting you know that our podcast is currently a work in progress. There's plenty of little details that we want to improve, that we are working on. There's a lot of backstage work so that it gets as best as we can produce. That includes being able to generate one single source of truth for each of one of the episodes. And there will be an upcoming template for each of one of the of these episodes for either when we investigate what's going on with an SDO or a specific subdivision of that SDO, as let's say a constituency in ICANN or one of the study groups in ITU, versus how do we analyze meetings, which will have different type of research pattern, if you will. That information will be available to you on a proper website, but that website is basically going to be backed up by GitHub, and it will be done so that if you are interested in complementing some of the information that we have been putting there out in public, you will be able to essentially send a PR and add information so that others can also make use of it. We will also eventually have a small portal so that you can vote for next topics that you would like us to investigate, and as well as pending tasks, things that we may have, I don't know, discovered during one of the episodes and we didn't think we had enough time to go deeper. We will give you the opportunity to carry on those research tasks if you want, and so you can just go and dig on your own. We want to encourage you to get to know much better what SDOs are about, what they are doing, how they influence the technology that you're using, and how you should be participating, how you should be involved, and how could you counter certain things that shouldn't be happening in SDOs. These first episodes are going to be very much high level, because we need to set the scene as to which SDOs we're going to be monitoring and how they function. However, we definitely need to get into much more detail of the things that we know are happening that are, to put it mildly, concerning. And we hope to be able to shed as much light upon those topics as we can. Now, for today's episode, I'm joined by Tristan, and hi there. And my colleague Mariam should join us at some point during the episode. Remember, we are streaming live from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. It is at the moment 3:11. And we hope to be joining as many people as possible from Asia Pacific, and hopefully, fingers crossed, people from the African region and the Europe region. What else I wanted to say? I think that's it. I think we can start with the episode, with the actual content of the episode. Okay. As you saw last week, if you were following us, dear viewer, we were discovering what the IETF is about. So IETF stands for Internet Engineering Task Force, and they are the kind of informal group of people who maintain the TCP/IP stack. That is all the protocols that basically run your devices to be able to connect and to use the internet. The IETF meets 3 times a year in person. Most of the work is done through mailing list. Most of the exchanges between members of different working groups are done through mailing list. And then they meet 3 times a year all around the world. And there's some type of rotation. There's a policy somewhere. There's got to be an RFC, a request for comment document that establishes exactly how this is done. In fact, I received an email a couple of days ago, I think, on the voting or kind of a survey for IETF members to decide whether they wanted to go run can't remember which number, one of the meetings in 2026, I believe, in Beijing, China. And there was references to a given RFC that describes where do we meet and why do we meet. We should actually have a look at that RFC. I believe I saved it into the links collection to inspect it today. So there is a regulation or some kind of regulation, if you will, kind of a policy. Everything that the IETF does, whether it is issuing a new protocol specification or issuing a policy for them to function internally, all boils down on a specific RFC. That's all they publish. So let me see here. Yeah, I just told my producer that we need a cough button. I needed to cough and I needed to find a way to mute myself. All right. So in the in IETF's website, you can see in the page that is shared /meeting/120 / any of the numbers, basically. You will be able to find all the information to the corresponding meeting that you want to have a look at. I hope I will not forget later that I also want to have a look at the numbers of participation, because one of the good things that IETF has is this tool that I mentioned in the previous episode called the data tracker. And it's a one single source of truth for all things IETF. And of course, they do have stats of participation for the different meetings, and you can see how many different nationalities are attending and so forth. It's quite an interesting information. It is clear that depending on the country that they want to meet, they may or may not have more or less friction for certain nationalities to participate. For all I remember, and Mariam should be able to tell us a little bit more about that, I guess, because she was participating in Brisbane 119. And for all I remember, there was some difficulty for certain nationalities to obtain visas to be able to fly into Australia. There's been similar situations with other SDOs where there's been a bit of criticism as to where the meeting was being held, and certain people just will not be able to do it because of visa restrictions. In that case, I can really assure you that IETF does a lot of effort to facilitate online participation. So if you can't make it in person, there's no reason why you can't do it online. All right, so this landing page for the meetings follows typically the same structure. You can find the information on the registration itself. We'll have a look at that. All the participant information, meeting communications, venue information, as well as additional events. We'll be having a look at pretty much, or at least the most relevant part of it. We do have some experience on participating in IETF, although of course there's always something new to be discovered. So please always remember the motto of this podcast, which is the only stupid question is the one that you don't ask. Never feel bad for not knowing something. Just go and find the information. That's it. No one can blame you for not knowing information. They could blame you for not having the attitude of not trying to find the information. So in here, starting with the meeting registration, as I was mentioning, there is 2 ways of participation. One is in person and the other one is online. So let's see for a second what happens when we go to the register for the event. This is one of the main differences for between the IETF and other organizations. Tristan, I believe Marian is here. Let's pause for a second and we can come back. Just give us a second, guys. We'll be back. All right, we're back. Sorry for that. While Mariam gets on her station and gets ready, let's continue with the registration part. As you can see here, one of the main differences between participating in, let's say, ICANN versus the IETF is that the IETF does have a cost on the participation for the in-person type of participation in their meetings. It's not cheap, which is always a problem and a friction, specifically for NGOs. And they have, as you can see on the screen, 3 tiers. If you buy it early enough, like super early, you will have way, is what, 1/3 cheaper than the standard price, in and around. And you can see that there is different prices as to you just expect to participate one single day, which honestly, between one day and the whole week, you might as well go for the whole week. And then the hackathon, which we'll be having a look at later, that one is for free. The hackathon and the code sprint happen during the weekend. We'll see the agenda, and anyone can just walk in, join, register, and spend the 2 days with the rest of the IETF participants. That is for when it comes to on-site registration. It's always quite an amount of money. And if you want to do it on remote registration options, you can see that there is also a cost associated. Of course, it's quite lower. And it may sound a bit expensive. However, I can vouch to the fact that the infrastructure that they use and the care that they put into their platform, which is called Meet Echo, is quite considerable. And so I can understand to a certain degree, I can understand the cost. Now, I said before that remote participation is free, and you can see in the screen that there's a cost associated to it. The reason why I was saying that is because there is this thing called waivers. And waivers can be applied or can be requested for both in-person participation and online participation. Now, I do not know if things have changed from last time I looked into it, and we could have a look as to whether there is more information on it or updated information. If you remember, the IETF has one chair for the IETF, and this other subdivision from the IETF called the IRTF, the Internet Research Task Force, also has a chair. Both of them used to have in and around 10 fee waivers to distribute across the requests for in-person participation. It is my understanding that both chairs historically have strived to give as many waivers as possible. There is no intention to try to just cut down people, although at the same time, there is, of course, a cost associated with running these meetings in person, and therefore it cannot be just given away to everybody. They do have their criteria selection, and that goes as a conversation between the applicant and the chairs. And it goes at the discretion of the chairs, obviously. Now, those 10 have been surpassed in the past to, I believe, 12 to 13 for the IETF chair, I believe in Prague. That was the stat that was presented during the open meeting. And when it comes to the online participation, let's say that there is an unlimited amount of free waivers. What that means is if you can afford it, just please pay for it. If you can't, do send a request for a fee waiver for online participation, and no one is going to say no. The policy at the moment of the IETF is to understand that anyone who's requesting it, there is a good faith expectation. And if you request that online participation for free, they will give it to you. So don't worry too much about these numbers. Don't also try not to abuse of the system. If you can afford it, just please pay it, because that's what keeps the IETF going. Now let's see very quickly if there's been any changes or any extra comments on the free waiver. IETF remote participation, okay. On-site participation, no. This is the same as it used to be. Oh, I'm getting the idea that one of the things that we should do, one of the tools we should do, is the Wayback Machine, to double check if there's been any change on a specific page in between periods of time. And I'm also thinking we should launch our own website monitoring for take note of that. As anytime that there's something that is interesting or relevant, web monitoring, we should have our own. And Wayback Machine. All right. Okay, learning things as we go. So this is done for the waivers. You can see here it's very simple to request the fee waiver. Just go to the website. You need to register with your own IETF data tracker account, and there's a form, and you just submit the waiver request. All right. Let's go back to the meeting page. What else do we have? You can have a look at the participant list. when you do the registration, there is an option in the form that requests or that asks you whether you want to be listed on the participant list. Of course, it is optional and voluntary. If everything goes well, I should be able to find myself here. I'm not Jean-Pierre. I'm not Jean-François Lombardo. That's AWS. Also not this guy. There you go. The IO Foundation. Okay. And yes, I'm scheduled to participate on site. I'm gonna check if Mariam has registered. She should be somewhere around here. Marian Concordia, Marian the IO Foundation. There you go. As remote. I mean, ideally, seriously, you would send as many people as you can from your organization. Just think about flights, accommodation, and the IETF weekly pass. It's a lot of money. So that's already one of the frictions that a lot of NGOs will be facing. Not being able to actively participate in these meetings. It's not that you need to be in every single one of the meetings. We don't. We try to send one of us to go over there, sure, but we don't have to be, the same person doesn't have to go consistently every single time to all of the meetings. Because a lot of the work, like I said, is done directly on the mailing list. However, it is clear that getting to know people face-to-face facilitates the resolution of potential conflicts or disagreements on specific protocol approach. That the networking element is a fantastic thing to do in every single event. For the most part, a lot of events are essentially just a big excuse to network with people. And of course, there's plenty of other side activities in which you're going to learn a lot. And by my experience, the people attending IETF are bloody smart. They are very interesting to talk to, very passionate for the technologies that they want to build. I've had amazing conversations with some of them, and nothing can replace that. You're not going to be able to have that online. All right, so participants, if you ever are curious about who's participating, you can have a look. This is one of the features of the IETF. It's extremely open. It's extremely clear in all of its documentation, and all the information that they generate, for in as much as they can, they make it public and accessible. It's quite a feature for the IETF, and it's something that people should commend them a lot. Now, if you happen to need, again, you come from a country with visa difficulties or restrictions in terms of traveling, there's the opportunity to have some information on your visa as well as of a letter of invitation. And the IETF may generate this letter of invitation for you to come and to justify that you are visiting for the purposes of participating into the event. There is an agenda here. I'm going to jump this for a minute because I want to go very quickly on some of the other elements. So meeting communication, here you have all the mailing lists of the event. So you can participate and see all the ongoing conversations prior and after the event. So the way it works is they open the specific mailing list for a given event in around 2 to 3 weeks before the event happens. There has to be, again, an RFC somewhere saying specifically how that timing is structured. And then the mailing list is open for in and around, again, a week or 10 days after the event is done. After that, it gets archived. No one else can send more messages over there. And it's quite a smart way to proceed, because then the conversations get contained to that particular meeting, and they don't bleed around, and they keep carrying off forever. There is mainly 2 lists that you might be interested: the participant discussion list and the new participants list. So because the IETF is so complex and is so full of information, not everyone who joins immediately knows how to move around. They may have the need to get some support, and IETF does try to provide as much support as possible. So And I was failing to say that new participants do have certain activities that are specifically targeted to them so that they can network, so that they can get to know better how things function, so that they can get to know other new participants. They are treated somehow a little bit differently. Remember, though, that you're only going to be a new participant the first time that you participate in person and not the next ones. Okay, so after your 5th in-person meeting, do not expect to be able to go to the new participants dinner because you're not going to be, that's not your place. There's other people who should be attending. Now, you can subscribe, as you can see there, and have a look at the archive later and look at all the conversations. And a lot of people exchange information for the purposes of the travel itself. As in, did you find this particular problem with the app to request visa? Or there's a conversation right now going as to what's the tipping customs for taxes in Canada, yada yada. It's a lot of help between participants. It's quite cool to see how the most unassuming question gets win in there, and there's a lot of people pitching in for support. Not to say that everyone is nice. Most of them are nice. The big majority of people in there are interested in the IETF to get things done, and those are the people you want to get close to. Some of them are just, well, there's always you will call it bad apples everywhere. The IETF is just as representative of any other environment as you can imagine. And then venue information, you will have here all the information in terms of where the event is taking place, how to get there, how to connect to the Wi-Fi. They set up a specific Wi-Fi for the event every single venue they go to. There's also some information on the participant wiki, and if you ever need to travel with kids, they put some childcare at your disposal between 0 to 10 years old. As they say here, they only have space for up to 10 children. That's still amazing. I don't know what you guys think about it. It's just great.
Who's bringing 10 children to?
I mean, yeah, it's great. It's very nice. And there is the coverage goes from 9 a.m. to the close of the sessions, which is exactly the time that you require for things to get done, so you can participate freely in your sessions. And if you have a presentation, not to have to worry about it. It's fantastic. This is a very, very good service from the IETF. And big surprise, or let me break this down to you, is not always women who have to bring their children around. Sometimes parents also sometimes fathers also have to bring them around, and it's just as useful for them. It's really, really cool. One thing I was missing about the participation, we should find somewhere, let me see where this was. Do they have the mentors?
Yeah, they do.
Somewhere? Yes, I'm wondering where is that?
I'm trying to remember what.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there. Let me see, participation information. No, new participants.
Yeah, new participants.
Welcome, Maria, by the way.
Hello. Hi. Sorry, I'm late. My camera is still not on, by the way. So I'm just...
Are you having problems with that?
Yeah, it's not detecting the camera. But I'm on that camera.
All right. Still we can hear you, so that's cool.
Yep.
All right. Support, programs, tips for new participants, Meet Eco, important date. No. Where are you, mentors?
Typically, from my experience, you have to request. So it's when you register, when you are a registered participant, they have this mailing list for all the attendees, and then they have this mailing list for new attendees, new participants. So usually that's where you get the information about how to apply for a mentor.
Yep.
I don't think it's actually out here.
Yeah, I can't find it. So the mentors program is, I believe it's still managed by Wes Hardaker. and they are always looking for people who have at least
Five
five IETF
attendance.
attendance, because the idea is to pair you, if you're a new participant, with a mentor.
Yep.
And you can be assigned. You're going to be assigned randomly based on interest and so forth. And who was your?
They try to match you as much as they can.
Yes. Who was your mentor?
Oh no.
Dhruv. He's got a difficult name to pronounce. I also struggle to know.
No, I remember roughly it's a Dhruv, so I really need to. But he's great. He's a really great guy. He was the one who started me off like really like clearly IETF. You need to know the difference between IETF and IRTF.
Mm-hmm.
Why the different forums, and what does it mean to the kind of work that you do at the different forums. So the research group are usually more theoretical and conceptual stuff, and the engineering group are more the actual building of the code and the program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was your experience in terms of the mentorship? How many hours was he with you?
I think in total for the whole week, even before. So before I even arrived at IETF, Dhruv was already in contact with me. Like we are already talking, exchanging emails, and I had a Zoom call with him. No, not Zoom. It was something else. But anyway, I had an online call with him for like about an hour.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. Nice. He was very involved, very invested in wanting to prepare me as much as possible as a first time newcomer.
Yep.
Yeah, I was very lucky to get him as a mentor.
And Dhruv is also involved with AODIR, which is something that we didn't look into last week. If we have some time today.
He's even in the IAB.
Correct. Yes. Well,
yeah.
So I don't know if he's still, because there was elections.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't know who are right now the AAB members. We can have a look at that, actually. Let me just take note here of things that we can have a look very quickly later. Mine was Chin Woo, which also happened to be from IAB, at least again back in the days last year. Extremely helpful as well.
Very helpful.
Really cool.
They make it quite a culture to be really Yeah. Like everybody there, even if it's not your mentor, you get this sticker called a new participant sticker.
Yep.
And everybody with the new participant sticker just gets like the best treatment.
Showered with attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was my experience. Because it is such informal gathering of people who basically are there out of their own interest, sometimes corporate interest. Hello, okay? Let's not be naive here. And sometimes also national interest. Now, in general, what you have is a bunch of very dedicated engineers getting together, and they just want to get things done. And if helping you allows them to get it done, they will. I haven't observed so far much negativity in IETF. So yes, we would definitely recommend, if you're a new participant and you're going to be there in person, do subscribe and try to get a mentor to give you a hand. Eventually, Mariam and myself, we might be able to support other new participants by becoming mentors ourselves. We still need to make some rounds first, though.
No, not at this moment. That's for sure.
All right. So the reason why I wanted to leave the agenda for later is because that's going to be a whole big topic on itself. And before we jump into that, I want to call your attention to the additional events section. This one is way more important than the very short visually area of the viewport of the screen. You can see here the code sprint and the hackathon. These are two activities happening on the weekend before the actual IETF meeting starts. It is unclear to me if it's actually considered as part of the meeting or the meeting starts on the Monday after. I mean, technically speaking, I don't know how do they want to consider it. It is still back to back. And pretty much everyone who participates in the hackathon is also participating in the meeting. As I was mentioning, both of those, the code sprint and the hackathon, are for free. So if you happen to be in Vancouver, by all means, just show up. Go and meet some cool engineers. Say hello to me if you find me over there. More than happy to introduce you to people over there. And then there's this thing called public site meetings. And this is awesome.
Yeah.
If the IETF on itself is already cool, the side meetings are just, sometimes you just don't know how you can pack your agenda so much. Did you manage to go to any of the side meetings in Brisbane?
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, not all of them.
Which ones did you do? You went to Pechakucha?
I did. Yeah. That was really fun. It was really funny. It was Pechakucha is like one of those like humorous it's a window where the engineers get to just loosen up
A little bit, yeah.
Not just a little bit, like a lot, like the most ridiculous. So you get like, I think you get 2 minutes, you get like 20 slides at most or something.
Yes,
you get,
there's a very specific set of rules, yeah.
sorry, not 2 minutes, 6 minutes.
We can actually have a look at it.
Yeah.
Pechakucha, so the viewers can know better. 20 by 20. 20
right.
slides,
20 slides.
seconds each.
Right, yeah. And it can be about anything, like any topic you want. It doesn't even have to be related to the internet, but
yep.
I mean, because of our topic here, sometimes there are some confusion, and some people do take it seriously. And but I mean, it's okay, whatever you want to share, really. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's okay if you want to share even about your cat, if that.
Yeah, it's an open mic, basically.
Yes, it is an open mic.
To avoid people to just go very long-winded, the format forces you to a rhythm.
Exactly.
So it's 20 slides, 20 seconds each, and that's your top. And when it's done, it's hard stop. Off you go.
Yeah.
And so I'm showing on the screen the official Pechakucha website, which is where this format came up. I believe it's Japanese. Don't quote me on this one. I'm not going to get down the rabbit hole of this one.
We have no idea how it started.
What is Pechakucha? Quickly. Where was it originated? In Japan, 2003, by these architects. Okay, so it did come from Japan. I wasn't crazy. All right, so let's go back to what I was mentioning here. The side meetings. So I haven't seen Pechakucha so far. In fact, I emailed the guy who organizes them just to see if they are not having it this time or not.
No, for I-120 I haven't seen as well.
Yeah. So this is essentially a wiki page that all the participants from IETF have the ability to edit and request informally the scheduling of available rooms for side meetings. And the side meetings, let me somehow rephrase this. There's two types of side meetings. One, those who are totally related to IETF activities, which might be granted a space in the venue to perform them. So for instance, if a given working group wants to have a discussion with other members and is related to, I don't know, a conflict that they have on a specific consideration, and they want to have more time to discuss it, they may request a space in the venue. If there's a birds of a feather coming up, any circumstance that is related to actual activities in the IETF and outputs from the IETF, you can request a space. Pechakucha itself is just an extra activity side meeting organized by the participants for the heck of it. So those will not have a space assigned, but they will still be in this page for you to join.
Yeah, even the recording is informal.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
All the Pecha Kucha from previous meetings are recorded. We should be able to find the link later. And if not, we'll put it in the episode page for you guys to have a look at it. Now, ourselves, we will have a small side event on Monday from 3 to 5:30 because we want to discuss one of the presentations we will have at the Hot RFC, which we will get back into later. So you can basically have a look at every single one of the days.
Are you submitted for a session?
Yes, I just did yesterday. Yeah.
Great.
So very simple, very straightforward. You have a look at the side events that people are proposing. You add them to your calendar. So if this is happening in one of the official rooms, there will be a conference link, so you can also participate remotely. And people also add an ICS, so you can add that particular schedule to your calendar. Makes it easier for you to keep track of things. Just as it is, just as straightforward. All right, so that's it for the side events. Let's get into, I want to first check very quickly the dates and deadlines, because it might be, let's see, okay, yes. So for all I remember, as you can see here, there's even information for the 2 upcoming IETF meetings, 1-to-1 and 1-to-2. I'm so looking forward to 1-to-2, Marina's Bangkok. That's going to be easy for the 2 of us to go. And this, I told you, right? This Argentinian restaurant that I always bring everybody every time we go to Bangkok.
Oh, no.
Bloody hell, it's great.
Okay.
So, as you can see here, this is giving us some relevant times, dates, I was looking for the word, which have to do with when, for instance, when you have the super early registration cutoff, when the agenda has to be finally published and cannot be amended anymore, etc., 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 etc. This is very useful for those who are actively participating in the event to have a good scheduling for their own work and outputs. They also tell you where the proceedings need to be done, because for each of one of the meetings there's of course a book of proceedings, and this will be by the 9th of September. So there's a lot of work behind a meeting. It's just not people just getting together, kumbaya, discuss about things and going home.
Dhruv Dodi, that's his name.
There you go. I'm still going to have difficulties pronouncing his name.
It's not that difficult. Dodi.
Okay. I'm still concerned about my ability to pronounce his name properly.
It's a V6 Ops. He's a chair, one of the chairs at V6 Ops.
Okay. And is he still IAB?
I didn't get that one.
All right. So as well, look at the ability of downloading this schedule through the calendar download. I can imagine that this is going to be another ICS. I'm just going to, yeah, correct. And so you could just put this directly into your calendar and you will not miss any of it. I'm actually, in fact, thinking that we may want to do a calendar subscription for this, Mariam, for our own. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Where does it export to?
I will investigate it, but for our internal calendar for TIOF, this might be something that we want to keep an eye on. It will simplify a little bit of work. All right. Now, let's go to the actual agenda.
Yeah, I'm looking at the agenda now.
Yes. So the agenda can be a little bit overwhelming. Fret not. Once you know what you're looking at, it's not so scary. Let me remove the filters here, clear selection, and apply. Let it think.
I actually like the layout of IETF data tracker. It's very easy to navigate.
It's quite good. It can be a little bit overwhelming at the very beginning because
Yeah,
there's a lot of
it's
stuff
a
all
lot.
around. Once you get the point of it, it's good. All right, so this would be the agenda for IETF 120 as the screen share is showing you. A very big warning, until the deadline that we were mentioning before reaches, please note that the agenda is subject to change up to and during the meeting. Things happen, so keep that in mind. Let's have a look at it. So in terms of navigation, the center page just gives you a full list of all the sessions, and we'll get into that in a moment. You have some tabs here to have a look at the floor plan. They give you some information as to how to move around and where to find some of the rooms, some of the spaces where things are going to be happening. And then there's, of course, a plain text version of the whole thing. It takes a little bit to load, apparently, but that could be our connection or even my station. Let's see. There you go. Can't get more obvious than this. Just a plain text of the whole agenda. Now, if you're going back to the very pretty interactive agenda, click, hello. Can you please change? It's not. All right, let's refresh then. All right, so on the center, the list, on the top, you have the possibility to change the time zone, so you can look at it from the perspective of the time zone that is of your interest. You can filter the sessions based on each of one of the different working groups, as well as administrative subdivisions and other type of happenings. So for instance, in terms of presentation, you would have the IEPG meeting, the hot RFC lightning talks, which is where we're going to be having the presentation ourselves, yada, yada, yada. Do remember that all of these SDOs have one specific common shared feature. They have a lot of abbreviations. It's fine. You're not supposed to know all of them. Most of them are somehow self-evident and you can deduce them. You just get used to them. It's totally fine. And these topics you're not gonna even gonna be interested into, so you can just ignore them. In here, basically, if you select IPPM, IVN, IO tops, you would basically apply the filter and it would just show you the sessions corresponding to what you have filtered. I mean, it's a filter like just any other. You can clear the selection, apply, and off you go for the full agenda. Now, if you have signed in and with your account, there's the possibility of picking sessions. I don't know if it's going to ask me to. Okay, yeah, right. Cool. You can basically select sessions on the checkbox on the left side. And once you apply, you will be saving that on your profile. You can link this as calendar view. You can download the ICS if you want, or you can jump directly to each one of the days. All of those are basically shortcuts. I'm going to discard this for a moment. The cool thing is you can basically look into how do you want to compose your own agenda. You just customize it for it. There's also a mobile app. Did you ever try that one, Mariam?
No, I didn't try the mobile app. It opens usually to a browser anyway.
Right.
I do.
So there's apparently, I just learned today that there is this new app called IETF Next.
Oh, cool.
I got no idea what it
Did
does.
not download. Yeah.
The previous apps apparently are not maintained anymore.
Okay. Let me see if I
And
can find it.
yeah, and yeah, there's this new thing called IETF Next, which we haven't tested yet. And
I found it.
how does it look like?
Uh,
Who is it IETF LLC behind it, or is it a private
no,
developer?
it only says IETF Next.
Let me see on Android. You're checking on iPhone, right?
Yep, that's right. It seems like this app is only available on the iPhone, iPad, and Mac apps.
IETF Next. I don't have it on Android. So if I just type IETF, is the IETF app still...
There are so many other apps like IETFers.
Yeah, that was done by one of the members, I believe.
I see. Okay. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same developer. Thomas Busateri. He, whoever this Thomas is, created IETF Next and IETF first. Although I'm not sure if this is officially from IETF itself.
I don't believe so.
No, yeah.
For all I know, all of these are basically attempts from members to facilitate the participation through mobile phone.
Yeah, but no, usually it just opens on my Safari or something.
So contained inside the app, right?
The browser. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Hack Demo is also a good side event.
Which one?
Hack Demo.
What do they do there?
Presentations of projects.
Where does that happen?
So they just usually on the second day or the first day.
Is it the results presentation or is the...
Oh no! It's a happy hour.
Okay.
It's a side event. Yeah.
It's a side event, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So side events are not in the official agenda.
It is.
Not in the official agenda.
Oh, okay.
That's why they are in the wiki. They don't show in the agenda.
Oh, they don't?
No.
So Hack Demo is not a side event then. It's I thought it was a side event.
I remember there was...
It's in Monday.
Control F demo. What was this? Hack Demo Happy Hour is on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a side event?
No, that one's not.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay.
So as we were discussing, this is going to be Saturday and then Sunday, and those are the 2 days right before the actual meeting starts, which is on Monday the 22nd.
Yeah.
And all of these activities are for free, meaning if you are in Vancouver and cannot afford to pay for the weekly pass, come over, mingle with the people over there, and participate in the hackathon in the Code Sprint. So what the hackathon in the Code Sprint does is basically people who are involved in work in the IETF, in any of the working groups, typically they need some of their proposals to get implemented, or at least have proof of concept, and that's what people do. They spend hours there collaborating to try to get some routine to work or some protocol to function. You went to the hackathon in Brisbane?
I did, yeah. I went to the hackathon only for like half a day because I was just checking it out and I was just listening into the projects. Once the teams get into their own projects, yeah, you don't disturb them.
Yeah. That's a logical thing to do.
Yep.
I can't remember what's the IEPG. Do you remember?
IEPG? No.
Let me see. Internet
Planning group?
Yeah, engineering and planning group. Okay, what do these guys do?
I have no idea.
They are in ops. Okay. Chris Morrow, which was the developer of the IETF schedule application, as I was looking in the
Cool.
right on the Android app. same guy. Informal gathering that meets on Sundays prior to the IETF meetings. Essentially one of operational relevance and some sort of fashion. Okay.
That's very specific. Well, that's helpful.
They have a website. Okay, don't take it at heart.
What?
A lot of these organizations, they just don't really care about having websites that look any minimally away from simple text. I mean, it's not as if they are not updated. As you can see here, they have information from different past meetings. It's just that they go directly for the information, and who cares about...
Yeah.
They don't mingle too much with graphic designers, let's say.
No.
Okay.
Who are those people on the right?
That's a good question. Who would this be? All right, I would say that it's time for reverse
They look
change.
like a fun bunch of people, though, from what I'm hearing.
I mean, Warren Kumari is there, so that's gonna be fun.
I don't know who that is.
He used to be IB as well.
Okay.
You can always see him. You can always spot him always wearing a hat. He's very embedded in the IETF. So who are that? Who are these people? The regents of the Spinhuis.
Is that German?
This seems to be Holland.
Oh, Dutch. Okay. Five men are the regents of the Amsterdam
Spinhuis, whatever that is, yeah.
The female house of correction.
The female house of correction. What the hell is that?
I like it though.
The women imprisoned there for theft or begging spend most of their days spinning.
I had a very different idea in mind, but okay. The female.
Affluent citizens like these gentlemen administered this sort of institutions. Thus was civic peace maintained. What?
What is going on?
Civic
What
peace
is
maintained.
What is a female house of correction?
It seems to be a prison. I can only imagine. But if they are spinning, so maybe huis means house in Dutch, and so the house of spinning. I'm just making a guess here.
I am googling it from the Female Convicts Research Center. So the house of correction are also factories.
They produce something then.
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe they were spinning looms.
Probably.
So they were not spinning on themselves. They were probably spinning some threads or whatever.
The factories were called factories because each was a site of production. The women produced spun wool and flax in all of the factories. In the main factories, other work was undertaken such as sewing, stocking, knitting, and straw plaiting. Hard labor included rock breaking and oakum picking. I don't know what oakum is. It's a factory. It's a workplace.
It's still a very interesting choice of an image to represent a group of a bunch of people. I can always try to ask them.
But what's the connection to the 5 men?
That's what I'm not understanding. Why the IPG would have. I mean, normally you use images that are symbolic of something that you do or something you produce, or some principle that motivates you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 men. Who are they called?
I don't think there are 5 in the IPG. I think there are more than that. Anyway, let's see what did come out from the meeting in Brisbane.
Brisbane.
How do you pronounce it?
Brisbane.
Brisbane. Okay. So they were looking into operations on basically a lot of IPv6. All right. So let's say, for instance, an update on IPv6 and DNS from Jeff Houston. Houston. I'm not sure.
Jeff Houston.
Yep. Okay, so you made a presentation. So it
Wasn't this
What?
Pecha Kucha?
no, no.
What?
Huston may have done some
But he
Pichakucha in
used this
parallel.
also on his. He was there at the IETF 119 Pecha Kucha. He used this
It could be. It
for
could
his
be.
Pecha Kucha as well.
Yeah, it may have done let me see.
Yeah.
This is 61 slides, so obviously this is the long version. He probably just made
Yeah. He made the
summary.
short
Yeah.
one for the
Yeah.
Pecha Kucha. Okay. Yeah, it was quite entertaining.
All right, so now I'm mega curious about what's going on with the IPG, and I'm definitely going to be adding it to my agenda for 120. What else? If you are a new participant, definitely you have there an overview and the Meet Eco introduction and testing, in which is a session in which they're going to be showcasing you the platform that is used for remote participation, which, by the way, I failed to say, you also need to use if you are participating in person. So it's the common platform for every participant, whether remotely or in person. And the reason is because after each of one of the interventions, there's going to be Q&A queue. And the way they handle the queue is by raising your hand on Meet Echo, which has a much better interface and works way better than bloody Zoom, which, full disclosure, I can't stand.
Okay.
Now, what is TSV AD hours? That's going to be area directors.
Where did our headphones go?
We have them outside.
Okay.
You want them?
There's no speakers on the monitors, right?
No.
Okay.
You need to listen to something?
Maybe.
You turned off your mic.
We get a very...
I might want to listen to something because I really want to look into this name data network thing. Oh, I did.
technical difficulties.
Oh.
I can... I can pause for a minute and go find
The headphones.
It's not a big deal. Funny would be the second pause of the day.
Okay. Is this okay now?
Tristan, let me know when we can pause.
Try again.
Yep. This is good. Okay. Thanks.
Tristan, can you pause for us for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Are we still? No.
You have to mute yourself.
All right, we're back. Is the headphone working, Mariam? You good? All right. Okay.
This one is not pointed towards you.
So,
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, and just out of curiosity, if I play this YouTube,
you will have to share the screen,
oh, okay,
in my estimation. Yeah.
okay. So now you don't.
No,
Okay, got it.
you're safe. All right. So we were discussing about the first day hackathon, code sprint, IEPG meeting, which is now sparking a lot of my interest. The TSV, I'm not 100% sure what TSV stands for, although AD is going to be area director's office hours, so I can imagine it has to do with area directors providing some office hours for participants or working group members. Each of one of the sessions here has a number of icons on the right side, and that would be the note taker for the notepad for the note takers. There's always going to be a note taker in each of one of the sessions because there's got to be a book of proceedings, as we saw before. The chat room, it might be connected to Zulip. I think that Zulip is somewhere around here in terms of the communications for the IETF. And there's the full client with video. This would be launching Meet Eco, which is not going to work now, of course, because there's no running session. That would be the on-site tool, which is basically the non-full version of the client, for all I remember. Audio stream just to listen to it. The calendar for this particular session. And there should be somewhere more here. So the meeting materials, the downloading the meeting materials, as well as somewhere there should be the notes with the here. What was it? So if you look at the meeting materials of one of the sessions, it will give you the agenda, the slides, if ever, and the minutes of that session. It's quite comprehensive. You're gonna find pretty much anything that you require. Do remember, or do keep in mind that each of one of the working group chairs has the mandate to update this information, and they might do it just a few days before the session. So don't be surprised if some of the sessions don't have that much information until they are near to completion, or near to happening. All right.
Where are you at? Are you still on Monday?
Yes, I was still giving. I was still on the weekend and giving different extra information about the interface.
Okay.
Get something?
Yeah, I found but we can play this when we get to Dinarji.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the last thing that I would like to do to say about the weekend is the Hot RFC Lightning Talks. This is an somehow informal gathering of people just attempting to share ideas that might be related to the IETF. And so you have a new topic that you want to discuss. You got a new idea for a working group. You've got a new idea for a research group. You've got an idea that you want people to scratch their heads about, which is very, very interrelated with IETF. That's the place where you will do the presentation. The presentations are just 4 minutes long. You got to go quite fast. And at the end, there's a few minutes, I think, for Q&A. And this is where, as well, you try to find people for, let's say you need a collaborator to get some code running or whatever. The meaning of RFC in this case is not as the document RFCs, which is request for comments. This one is request for conversation. Might be a little bit confusing, but it is what it is. And I don't know where the hot thing comes from. Possibly because hot topics.
It's quick.
Oh, it comes from Quick.
No, I don't know, but Sounds like
Fair point. Fair point.
fast. Yeah.
The difference between this and Pechacucha, very simple. In Pechacucha, you can talk about your cat. There's no place for you to talk about your cat in the Hot RFC.
No.
That's it.
No,
Yeah.
no. You have to talk about something specific in hot RFC.
Yeah.
It's not pecha kucha.
Which doesn't stop you from presenting the same topic in both. Just be cognizant about what's the type of topic that is expected on each of one of them. All right, so let's go to Monday. What do we have over here? Who is meeting? One of the things that I would like to taking notes for the template we're going to be using later on. Sorry, I'm taking down a note. So not all the working groups and not all the research groups from IRTF require to meet in every single IETF meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And so was Brisbane, there was no HRPC, right?
No.
Right.
Do we have that in 120?
Yeah, there is one here.
Oh, cool. Where? Monday?
We'll check it out. Oh,
Okay.
find it. And see what they are going to present. So that basically means that there isn't always the same groups or the same working groups or the same research groups presenting or doing some work during a given meeting. I now have the question as to not who is attending the meeting or who is presenting, rather those who don't. And that's a very difficult question to answer a priori, because there's no way for you. You would basically have to go and discount those who are around. But I find that to be an interesting thing to know. It gives you an idea about the rhythm of work that they're doing. Yes, Mariam?
No,
you say?
nothing. I was yawning.
Okay. I thought you were going to say something.
No.
Now, the way the agenda is structured, you can see it starts with the day over here with the time, and this is the time segment to 9:30 to 11:30. Sessions typically are about 2 hours long, each of one of them, because you have a lot of stuff to talk. This here on the first side is in which room is happening, in which space, and then right next to it, which research group or working group is the one hosting that session, and the name of the working group or research group on the right side of that. You also can see which segment or which area that particular working group belongs to. So here you will have art, which was application and real time. So the working group of SATP, which does what? Let's say secured asset transfer protocol, happens to be here. All right, so this is the code for that working group, and then the name of the working group is here. You can all the names and all the codes are hyperlinks, so you can go and have a look as to what they do. Wes is over here. What's the charter of that particular working group, so you can have a look as to whether this is something that is of your interest, and pretty much get updated with what's the work that they're doing. What would be your estimation, Mariam, in terms of
Yeah.
if you were a newbie,
Uh-huh.
what would be the estimation? Let's see if I can phrase my question properly.
Yeah.
How long do you think a newcomer would need to feel comfortable with a given topic on the working group?
On a working group. Oh, like someone with no technical background at all.
No,
So yeah.
the technical background is going to make a lot of impact, definitely. But let's say that you know more or less about a given topic, and it's the first time that you interact with
the
know.
IETFers.
Yes.
Interacting with the IETFers wouldn't take long for you to warm up to them. But in terms of topic itself, if you're very new to the topic, then yeah, it will take you a while. But if you already have an idea about the topic and you already have some sort of even work done on it,
Mm-hmm.
it'll probably be very easy and smooth sailing for you.
Yeah, so if you have some DNS experience, of
Yeah.
course, any working group that has to do with DNS, you're going to
Yep.
be able to
Yeah.
jump into it. Now,
Exactly.
because there's typically a lot of conversation going on, a lot of
Mm.
history,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
would say it's 6 to 8 months easily before you can catch up properly between acronyms. And if you had full time to just dedicate to this, probably in a couple of weeks you're done.
Yeah.
Now, people have works and they have families and they have other things to do, and it's not as if they can invest full weekends into it. The reason why I'm asking is because whoever is listening to this, I don't want them to feel overwhelmed.
Oh no.
It's
no.
a very normal thing that you're going to need
Yeah.
a lot of entry time, and it's totally fine.
Mhm.
And they typically are quite receptive and welcoming, so it's not a place where you should be concerning yourself about, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to be at the height of all of these very intelligent people. Just do your best. All right, so I would recommend then to have a look at the agenda as it is, and there's a number of things that I would recommend myself, and then Mariam, if you have your own recommendations later, would be good as well to check them out.
It really, I mean, the session speaking really depends on your current interests. Like right now, I'm really interested in decentralized internet.
Yeah.
So I will be follow like Dinarji. But if you are really into routing or even DeadNet, which I call DeathNet, like I totally would. DeadNet would totally repel me. Like I would not go to any DeadNet sessions. But some people really love it, so they would totally follow it from yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
For reference, DeadNet stands for deterministic network.
Networking. Yeah. Like I love networking as a subject, but for some reason, deterministic networking is just you really have to be plugged in there for you to
There's
understand
a lot of
what's
nerds going on over here, and it's normal. It's a very technical subject.
Yeah,
and
very
DeadNet is hardcore. I'll give you
very
that.
hardcore.
I'll give you that. All right, so if I had to have a look at, let's go day by day, I'm just gonna mention my preferences or my interests,
Sure.
and you can do the yours too there. So I would say that for Monday, on the first segment, you should definitely keep an eye on IETF wide dispatch session. This is something that I understand it's new. That is basically a dispatching a grand high-level dispatch session for all new ideas to land in the corresponding areas and to be analyzed and considered by the corresponding area directors. There used to be some procedures, as in birds of a feather and so forth, to be able to charter or to find a quorum for a new working group, and it seems that seems to be either changing or being complemented by this. I don't have a full picture on how it is working. We may want to have a look at it later. And there is, let's see here, agenda bash, hybrid IANA registration policy. Oh, John is such a cool guy. John Clancy. John Clancy is one of the OGs, by the way.
Cool. Like Steve Drucker. Like Steve Drucker.
Yes, the one that we saw last week.
Right.
Okay, so it's also going to be a number of presentations, and very likely these are going to be assigned or discussed as to whether they get into becoming working groups or which working group they should be going. Definitely, if you are into routing, interdomain routing would be something to have a look. And if you are into encryption, PGP, open specification, I guess you would like it. But my preference in this case would definitely be the dispatch session. Then for the second segment of the day, the IRTF open meeting, I think, is not to be missed. This is where the IETF chair is going to be giving an update as to what has been done in general in the Internet Research Task Force, which is always something to keep an eye on. And of course, if you're into DNS, I think DNS delegation is a no-brainer. And well, this routing area over there, there's a lot of competing good sessions in that segment. My preference remains with the RTF open meeting. And oh, by the way, each of one of the sessions is recorded through Meet Echo, and all of them are available for later consumption. So if you can't make it to a specific session because it's conflicting, you can always go and check the recording, and they are up quite fast.
Almost immediately, even.
Then in the afternoon, well, unfortunately, 3:30 to 5 is exactly where we're going to be running our own side meeting. So obviously, I'm not interested in any of these. But now, seriously, network management is always a cool thing. DNS operations, what can I tell you about that? And last segment of the day, let's see, NTP, multi-protocol label switching. I wouldn't have a specific preference for that particular segment. I'd probably just decide to rest or pick a topic randomly to see what they're up for, out of sheer curiosity. How about you, Mariam? What would you like on Monday?
Monday, nothing really strikes out to me. Gaia? I've actually not been to Gaia.
I've been to
Yes.
Gaia once.
Yeah. I mean, if you are into V6, oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong day. Are we going day by day?
Yes.
Nothing that strikes out for me. Usually, I just attend the BOF just to get to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all these patches very important, just to get like a bird's eye view of what's happening around IETF.
Yeah.
If you really love routing, you go to all the routing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing really for me for day one. Unless it's probably this one, peer RG, privacy enhancement research group.
What time is that one?
That one is 5:30 on Monday, and the materials are up actually. Cool.
What are they gonna do? Let's see.
Oh, you click on the other one. Okay, cancel.
Blue sheets, blah 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 blah. Presentations. Privacy preserving network layer protocol. And then mobile evaluation of language transformers. All right.
Mobile evaluation of language transformers. Okay. Privacy preserving.
I was going to say something and all of a sudden I forgot. What was I going to mention? Oh, yes. So one of the things that has been catching our attention is if you're interested in routing, have a look at who is doing the main amount of presentations in the routing area of IETF. I find that to be quite noticeable.
Cool.
I still don't have it. China.
Oh,
Overwhelmingly. I don't have a specific feeling about it. It's just it's a tingling sensation, and I would like to investigate a little bit more as to when that picked up and what kind of suggestions are being made. Because as we will see during the ITU episode, there's a number of concerning things coming from China in terms of how they are proposing to re-architect the internet, and it would be naive to think that they are only trying to do it at the ITU level. um, they have all the reasons to also attempt something at the IETF. I'm still not calling out anything, just to be clear. I'm only saying that it's something we want to keep an eye on and investigate properly, and we will do an episode specifically just on these kind of things.
This one presentation is quite interesting. An OSF framework for AI network.
When is that one happening?
That one is under RTGWG. It's on Monday, 1:00. If you look at the agenda.
Yep, routing area network. Yep.
And there's a presentation number 11. OSF framework for AI network.
Okay, so just to my point, just for a second.
Mm-hmm.
There's 12 presentations I saw.
Mm-hmm.
There's one presentation from Linda Dunbar, and then AC Lindem, and starting at number 4 is Fan Zhang, Jeffrey Zhang, Feng Yang, Yao Liu, Chang Wangling, Jia Mingye, Dao He, Daniel Huang, Shuang Xiong. My Mandarin is not so good. Peng Feng Huo, Daniel Huang. So the amount, and there's another one from Xiaomin on CNP. So again, I find it very, very interesting that this is an area that is totally dominated by the Chinese at the moment. And
routing.
Yes, and it does tickle me because the proposals that have been coming from China on the ITU have specifically to do with routing at a big scale. I'm not accusing anybody at this point. I'm only very, very curious about what's going on with that.
This is fascinating to me. An OSF for AI network.
Which one?
Number 11.
Still routing, right?
Yeah. Number 11, you go to the...
Let me see.
Click on it. Yeah. The internet draft. Where am I? I am
Actually, I think I would prefer to open it in a new tab.
Yeah. Open a new tab.
OSF framework for artificial intelligence network. So just as a preview of the things that we want to do in the future, once we cover the SDOs and we can have a general information about each one of them, and yada yada yada, what we're going to be doing is every time something like this catches the attention of Mariam, we will have a look at who are the authors.
Oh, okay.
What's kind of work they have been doing. Where else they are submitting things? Are they related to companies who are submitting other things as well in the ITU, for instance, or in AICAN? Yada, yada. We want to be able to trace and map this kind of thing so that we can have a clear idea as to why certain things are being proposed and what could be the intention behind it. So...
Look at
Tell me.
2.2.
2.2 in the functional components?
Yep.
Okay. Control plane, data plane, management plane. Okay. 2.2.
Look at the framework.
What do they mean by this? TM. I have no idea what I'm looking at in terms of. Okay, what's the TM? Discovery of maintenance of the internal connection information between each interface. Ingress, egress.
What is?
Okay.
Am I getting OSF right? Is it what?
Come again?
What?
Okay, let me just see the beginning of this. So the status. So this document describes a framework for artificial intelligence network. Particularly, the document identifies a set of AI network components, describes their interactions, and exemplifies the workflow of the control and data planes.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit confused about why AI gets injected into everything. So I could understand to a certain degree that you want to optimize resources in networking,
Yeah.
and that you want to have it in a way that is as smart as possible or as predictive as possible, as responsive as possible. Fine. I don't know if I want to call that AI. I guess if there's a piece of software that is doing that management that uses some type of neural network or transformer, fine. It's just this softwareization that they introduced some years ago because of 5G is getting a little bit out of control. Okay. Internet draft is submitted. Okay. Was there anything specific that bothered you from the text?
Nothing. I was gonna see if there's a difference between what we understood, essentially, from.
Yeah, I don't know if this is expected to be for hardware interfaces.
I was gonna see if it has any overlap with what we understand with the OSI model.
I know the OSF is going to be different.
Yeah. So there's no. I mean, this is my first time looking at something OSF.
Which stands for, by the way?
Open Science Framework.
Really?
Apparently.
As to here? Is that how they define it?
Maybe not.
OSF.
OSF framework. So the F is not framework then. What is it?
No, Open Science Framework must be something else. Where's the definition of
What?
OSF?
OSF. Where is it? Where is it?
I do not see any specific definition over here. It might be a term. Okay. Open Schedule Fabric. Terminology.
I was okay.
Okay.
Open Schedule Fabric.
So is this something that has been
I feel like
around?
now.
Oh, come on, don't give me fabric
What is
shops. You kidding me or what? Hello.
a network fabric? Is the mesh of connections between network devices such as access points, switches, and routers that transports data to its destination.
Okay.
So Open Schedule Fabric is what? What is fabric switching? A switching fabric is a network topology where the network nodes are connected to each other using one or more switches.
Right.
Okay. What?
For now, the only hits that I get for this are related exclusively to IETF. There's nothing outside of it.
Fascinating.
So it probably is a term that they have come up with to define their idea.
Open Schedule Fabric. But everywhere else on the internet, we find network fabric or just fabric.
Okay, this we will have to have a look more deeper. OSF management layer,
Maybe
control
it's
layer,
something new
data
they're
layer.
building.
Yeah. So there's a management plan and control plan and data plan, sure, here. And there's some ingress and egress over here, forwarders, fine. Entry point for OSF data packets. Do they come with any definition of a specific data packet somewhere? Is there a, let's see, topology management, I guess that mean? Load balancing, no. Credit base, flow control, congestion control, link quality detection. I don't see deployment considerations. I don't see a definition for specific OSF packets, is what they call it. Data packets, okay. Where path selection and load balancing are performed based on MS. And the MS, where were the MS? Don't see it. Okay. You want to keep track of this?
Maybe.
All right, we can do that.
I mean,
I'm
it seems
just
like it's
gonna
something
add
new.
this to our collection of links to have a look at later on, and it's going to be here, and I'll just add it to IETF for the moment as it is. Okay.
Oh, it's a specifically, it's a specific thing related to AI technology. Seems like it. I don't know if it's true.
Mm-hmm.
A scheduled fabric interfaces to the compute device via standard Ethernet between all the elements of the connectivity. Wow, you really go down a rabbit hole.
Well, that's the idea. All right, let's move to Tuesday. All right, what would I do on Tuesday? So we already decided that .NET is not in our agenda.
I mean, it's not on mine.
Yes.
It can be on yours, by all means.
Guys, nothing against .NET, okay? We're just having a laugh here.
Yeah.
On the first day, I would definitely have a look at DALT, detecting unwanted location trackers. That sounds like a total yes to me. And what do they have? There's no materials at the moment, so we don't know the agenda. But I would definitely...
What are you looking at?
Tuesday, first session. It's the one before last on the second. DALT, yes. What else? On the second segment from... Hold on, yes. I would say... So IPv6 maintenance definitely is something that people should have an eye on. Anything that has to do with IPv6, the more we can work on that, the better. I personally gonna be looking into RATs, remote attestation procedures. This is a topic that fascinates me quite a bit, and I can see that the agenda is quite well set. That's a very frantic agenda, I gotta say. 10 minutes each. Keep going. Postures assessment onwards. I need to have a look at what these guys have been doing. Hopefully it has anything to do with our interest in remote attestation for code execution. I've never looked into the specifics for them, but RAPs will definitely be in my agenda. And then for the following one, post-quantum use in protocols. That's a yes.
Yeah.
And finally, I do not know where will I go on that 5:30 to 6:30 session, but I'm so going to the IETF board game night.
Oh, nice. Post-quantum cryptography for engineers. Wow.
Which one in post-quantum using protocols?
Yep. Be quick.
Let me see. Yeah.
Terminology for post-quantum traditional hybrid schemes.
Hybrid signature spectrums.
Sheesh. You guys are hardcore. Okay. Bye.
migration use cases. This is going to be very interesting for Chetai, actually.
Yep, exactly.
I'll try to report to him as much as possible.
Yep.
All right. So what would be your preferences for Tuesday?
No, nothing here for me.
Nothing aside what I mentioned, or not even what I mentioned?
Yeah.
Okay, fair point. There's no obligation here. All right, Wednesday. There goes your favorite, Mariam. Dingrg. My gosh.
NRG.
DNRG. That's probably where I will go as well. Because the rest.
Yeah, you. Okay, I forgot how I came to here.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I?
You want to show a video?
How did I go to the mail archive? I can share my screen. Share screen.
Yep. Let me unshare mine.
How do I review what?
Hey, look at that. I'm doubling the screen.
How do I? Wait, no, not this one. Hey, which screen am I selecting?
Always the public one.
Yeah, I know.
Always the Acer. Not that we are. There's no branding support here. It's just the name of the monitor that
I'm trying to
she
get
has.
the tab that I'm.
Don't share tabs. Just share the whole screen.
Show the whole screen. It's easier.
Okay. Share the whole screen. Okay. Share the whole.
So for those who may be wondering why we have this conversation, the setup that we have is dual. We got one screen that is public and the other one that is private, so that we can run our own research or do things that shouldn't be going out into the internet. You can see it there in the general. Thanks, Tristan. And so they are physically even different, so we don't get confused on where are we putting what.
I am trying to see. Is it uploading?
It's not showing on the stage. I can see it on the. Okay, I'm gonna add it to the stage. There you go.
Oh, okay, yeah. I forgot how I got here.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so the Dean RG talks mostly about consolidation, decentralization, and of the internet. And we have a specific interest to internet fragmentation. That's how I got to know DNRG. And so right now, this is what I'm reading. Essentially, like somebody has proposed this taxonomy draft, and so now I went to the internet draft to read what it's about. This draft is expiring soon, by the way, so we might want to take note. So a taxonomy of internet consolidation.
From Mark McFadden.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking at. That's just what I'm saying.
Okay.
Let's see how they are doing the taxonomy. Where is it? Okay. Is that the taxonomy?
No,
Okay.
I don't think we have reached that point yet in the document.
Economic considerations.
There you go. So the taxonomy, those will be the four main categories: economic consolidation, traffic and infrastructure consolidation, architectural consolidation, and service and application. Okay, so that's
the main
you can make a stack out of
pillars.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so Cool. Yeah. I think this is cool. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they're talking also about economic consolidation of the internet. So who owns the most share of the market? So not necessarily control over the network,
Mm-hmm.
but also who owns the capital, the financial capital of the network.
Yeah. So one of the concerns that I have about this kind of RFCs
Yeah,
or drafts.
this is an economic consolidation, not necessarily technical consolidation.
Yeah, and which is fine to a certain degree, as a
Yeah.
conversation. Yes, the point is there's I don't think that this is a written rule anywhere. There is, however, a consideration for me that any RFC should be somehow atemporal,
Right.
not rooted into one specific point in time, because those circumstances are going to change.
Mm-hmm.
So that 60% of electronic commerce market of Alibaba, 2 years later is 62, or is 58, or it
Right.
has increased more, or Alibaba doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know to which degree it is a positive thing to have those very specific time-sensitive pieces of data in an RFC that should be a general guidance document.
Right. Okay. Let's see. What does this mean? Economic flow consolidation. Large. So this is their taxonomy for what consolidation means. This is what I'm understanding from this internet draft.
Yeah, I see way too much prose text there to be an actual taxonomy. A taxonomy should have much more of a parent-child structure
Mm-hmm.
and definitions for each of one of the how to say, of the items.
Okay, let's look at this one. This is more technical. A traffic and infrastructure consolidation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so significant majority of the internet's traffic is delivered from very large content services like Google, Amazon, and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what happened is these content services seek to establish connections directly with the companies providing access to the network. The result is a flattening of the internet's traditional topology. Okay. Oh wow. So a recent study shows that these large services can reach more than 76% of the internet without having to traverse traditional tier 1 and tier 2 ISPs. Besides bringing benefits to low latency, blah blah.
Wait, hold on. I think I did something wrong. I actually put back my screen on stage. Right. Sorry. I was
Okay.
pre-preparing my screen and apparently just directly sends to stage. So we missed that part. Can you go back?
Oh no. I'm looking at this particular characteristic because the first three are more socio-economic.
Mm-hmm.
This is looking to me more technical
Yep.
consolidation.
And they're still mentioning specific names.
Yes.
That still concerns me.
Because I suppose because they're analyzing from the application.
Yes. So the thing is, the analysis should not be made from a 2024 perspective. It should be
Right.
made from a general perspective, in my opinion.
What
That's what I'm saying.
general meaning like what?
Meaning, should there be a significant majority of the internet traffic being delivered from very large content providers?
No.
Yada. You know what I mean? Without naming names, like the concept, the problem is not the names. The problem is the fact that they are large providers and they are controlling the
Yeah.
traffic.
Yeah, it can be Google today, it can be
Whoever,
something
correct.
tomorrow. Yeah, okay. So
And you could say that's the general thing, and then make a mention at the time of writing. These are these ones, but then you can disregard that particular annotation, and the rest of the text is still generic enough. That's my
look at
preference.
this.
Is all.
Centralization of this sort makes traffic filtering easier since forcing a content network to block specific content will make a large amount of the content unavailable. As these networks begin to migrate to other services, more than the web is affected by the impacts of filtering by centralized content services. In fact, blocking a content network entirely will block all the content of the network, not just the content that was the target of the filter.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this the authors are making the case for or against centralization.
Against centralization. In this case, against
Consolidation.
full-fledged filtering that would remove all the content at once
Yeah.
instead of the specific one.
Yeah.
For instance, another thing that falls into the category of what I was mentioning,
Yeah.
he's also mentioning here, this happens as an example at the application layer. In 2021, Google and Apple were forced to that. Those can be footnotes to me.
Right.
That is elements to support your argument.
Right.
I don't think it should be the argument in the text.
So here's the main kicker here. The ability of a government to influence the content network means that centralization can lead to a reduction in the diversity of information or services on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why people are talking about decentralizing the internet. That's why this is such a big topic, the DNRG.
Yeah.
As the content network grow, the network themselves grow. Okay. Since we grow larger. As then the existing networks grow larger, it becomes more difficult for smaller network infrastructure providers to compete with the economies of scale from which the large networks benefit. Okay. All right. Yeah, seems fair.
Mm-hmm.
This is also quite technical, I think, an architectural consolidation.
Category categorizations, architecture. Mm-hmm. And I would say that Mark would know very much about this because he's also invested and involved into the ITU. In fact, we got a lot of the information that we know about the ITU thanks to Mark. And I can't imagine where he's coming from in terms of the consolidation of the architecture when you think about new IP. That would be, so for those who this term may be new IP is a proposal that came from China to essentially, I wish I was making this up, to re-architect the internet. That would be the final outcome of it. And it has had a lot of friction and a lot of pushback and so forth in the ITU. We will do a whole episode just based on just investigating new IP and some of the technologies that are related to it and how it is resurfacing at the moment under different clothing. And that would probably be something that Mark is taking care in his or looking at in his text.
Cool.
Standards development, he's making a mention there. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's also a very, very fair point.
Very. Yep.
Also the reason why we're doing this podcast. So, okay, service and application consolidation. I feel this may be a little bit based on PNIF on internet fragmentation. There may have been some collaboration there between GPD and Mark.
Yeah.
Shout out to GPD, Global Partners Digital. We've been working with them for since 2018, pretty much since we started in a number of projects. Really cool to work with them.
Access multi-sided market platform. Okay. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to read all these things, before you go to IETF, so that when they are talking about it or when they're presenting, you can understand.
Yeah, by all means. We haven't mentioned this. It would be, if it's good if you want to go and participate, that you do some homework before
Yeah.
you get, and that's also the reason why you have all the materials available in the agenda, so that
This
you can do
is-
your homework.
I suppose this is just it's a recommendation for a taxonomy. It's not the taxonomy itself. Like what should if the taxonomy were to be made, it should be based on these recommendations. Yeah, this is what this document is about. Yeah, a lot of it is fair.
Fair point.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
That's
So
cool.
that's being discussed at 1:20. So I guess you want to take a look at that as well.
Yes, I'm definitely going to
Okay.
be there.
Yeah.
In that session.
So
And there was a video that you wanted to play.
yeah, because I've been following this. Remember in the last episode, I talked about how the Dean RG, the chair, uh, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been following Dean RG long enough for me to know the history of this, but seems like this has been going on for a while as a potential contender for the next manner of communicating, essentially. So
Oh, NDN.
NDN, yeah.
Right.
What does it mean?
There's 31 minutes. We're not going to be able to see it. I don't know if you need to share audio on the. No, when doing the sharing, I'm going to stop my sharing for a moment.
Okay. Okay.
So when I do the presentation, share screen.
So the reason why I came across this thing is
Yeah.
because I'm following DNRG. So
Yeah.
because I mean, they are the people, the theorists and the computer scientists looking at new forms, new ways of communicating, right? So they came up with this thing as something that could replace the internet protocol.
DNS, effectively, if I'm not wrong. I know IP as well.
Yeah.
We
Like, okay, wait. Before I play this,
did we discuss this in one of the recent meetings that we had?
I have no idea. I
Why
forgot.
is this?
Anyway, like for example,
Yeah.
this is where it changes.
Yeah. So they really are going for IP itself. Okay.
Yeah, and this Professor Zhang, she is a chair of one of the chairs of DNRG. There are two chairs. DNRG has two chairs. One of it is her, Zhang Lixia.
Yes.
And the other one I think is Dirk, I think. Yeah, so she has a number of these videos that explains this. It's been around for a while, you know. This video is like 4 years old. This is like 2019.
Right.
And the work is really being developed at IETF.
You have to stop the video.
Oh, sorry.
It's interfering with your microphone.
Oh, okay. I see. So the sound does go. Okay.
No, the sound doesn't go. It's just static.
Okay. Got it.
All right.
Okay.
So
how are we gonna do this? Are we gonna play the video or what?
doesn't seem possible to play the video, but we will just keep it as part of the
Reference.
materials for the episode.
Yeah.
You can keep it with you right now. You can send to me later.
Cool. Sure.
And I'm personally also going to be having a look at the presentation. That's for sure.
Yep. But yeah, this is one of the big reasons why I'm so interested in DNRG at IETF is because of
Are they
Because
having
of
their own
this.
website?
this is name-data.net
Okay,
publication.
keep that one too for the.
How do raindrop, right?
If you have Raindrop installed, fine. But if you don't,
It
oh,
is.
you have it. Okay, so
Yeah.
just go to unsorted and select the
Select what?
IETF.
IETF.
Yes,
Oh.
a little bit
And
higher.
it should be IR because it's an RG.
That's correct. Yes, you're good. You're correct.
Okay, it's safe. And then this one as well.
Yes,
This
please.
lecture.
Yep.
Okay.
And what we'll do is we will create subfolders
Okay.
for each of one of the working groups and research groups as we specialize as we focus a little bit more on the ones that we find the
But
most relevant.
from this simple chart, what do you make of it? What does it
I
mean?
cannot make anything out of it aside from the fact that they seem to imply that they can remove IP
Yeah.
with just names.
Yeah. Seems like it.
And one, I wouldn't know exactly how to do that, and I guess it's documented or explained somewhere in the documentation. And second, again, so I don't want my words to be misconstrued or be
Yeah,
misinterpreted.
yeah. I'm just trying to understand. This
I
as
mean,
well.
for whoever who might be reading or listening this streaming
podcast.
at some point, and because once it's in the internet,
Yeah, it
never
never
disappears
dies.
again.
Yeah.
I'm not playing any conspiracy theories or everything over here. I'm only putting together several pieces that we know are at play.
Yeah.
And when it comes to things, there is way too many attempts at the moment to try to justify optimizations of network performance, for instance, based on having to know the content that you're exchanging,
Right.
which definitely infringes in your privacy.
Okay.
So, for instance, one of the things we're going to be keeping an eye on is semantic communications, which personally freaks me out. And granted, I don't know enough to have a full fledged opinion on it. Right now, my position is that it really looks weird. And if you need to be putting name into things to be found, my impression is that you need to know what that thing is.
Yeah.
So how I'm going to be able to find a private conversation talking about a specific topic if that hasn't been analyzed by a piece of software
Right.
to be able to name it?
Right. To name it in the first place.
Again, based on the first interpretation that I do on a few slides with no much technical
with
information.
Yeah.
And so anything that has to do with... So let's see if I can put my argument better. One of the main fantastic features of the OSI is the isolation between layers. So the IP layer have no idea what the transport layer is doing,
Yep.
how they're doing it.
Yep.
All they know is that they get information from transport, they send it to data link.
Yep.
And data link has no idea what IP is doing.
Yeah.
And so you just give me a bunch
And
of...
they have no reason to care.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so you isolate and you can generate this abstraction layers of communication. That's why you can have different subnets. That's why you can have different applications working in different areas. And all of these feel very heavily to me that basically what they mean is the collapsing all of those layers.
Right.
And
Right.
that's when I get concerned.
Understood. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like you have to read the whole thing.
Yeah, obtains its name in the app, associated certificate, the app's trust anchor, and security policies. But then this seems to be kind of a point-to-point. When starting an NDN-based app, each participant goes through a bootstrapping step. So there is kind of
A way to do it.
handshake situation
Yeah.
between all the participants.
Right.
That's interesting.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it maybe this has specific areas of application and it cannot be
Yeah.
a general thing. I don't know. Okay.
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 I mean, for me, this is fascinating. I feel like over the years, the conversation has started to really like take off. So it's a good opportunity for you in 120 to
Yeah.
perhaps even meet with Professor Zhang or even Dirk.
Yeah.
To talk about this.
And they might be onto something. I seriously
Yeah.
don't have a definitive impression on this. My concern, like I said, is just a preemptive concern based on other things that are happening. I might be just totally missing the target here. Okay. So I'll definitely have a look at that as prep.
Sure.
Okay, so we...
I can
Yes.
stop sharing now.
No need.
Oh, okay.
I simply can't replace.
Ah, nice.
Yes,
Great.
that's something I didn't know about StreamYard. Thank you guys
Okay,
for
cool.
having that cool feature that we've been looking for the longest time in other platforms we were trying to use. It was always a pain to do the switching. Oh, by the way, Tristan, one of the substreams that we are doing, if everything has worked, and I forgot to flag to you that you may want to verify that the session has started on our TechUp community on Eremit. I did create one substream to get over there. So we may want to check that on later. All right. Back to the agenda. Wednesday.
Yep.
Session 1. As we said, DNRG, the place to go. After.
Well, for me at least.
Well, for us.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yes.
Yeah. We are not trying to, to short anybody else. I mean,
if you want to measure and analyze protocols, go ahead to MapRG, you know. So
yeah, this you see, I'm always curious as well about Yang.
which one? Oh, yeah.
Network inventory Yang.
Oh,
Because
cool.
I've seen it a lot in IETF, and there's apparently a lot of people doing things with Yang, and I had no idea what is it about. So that's a cool thing to look. Measurement analysis for protocols, that's also a very interesting working group.
Yep.
So by all means, we are not minimizing
Sidelining anyone else.
Yeah. Next one, TLS. Next one, we need to participate to TLS because there's this thing going on. I haven't still looked into it. What's the name of it? Tags, labels, whatever it was. Let me see. There might
Transport layer security.
Yes, so TLS is for the group, but there is trust expressions.
Ah, okay.
The last one, number 9. So there's a bit of a concern on that, and I haven't looked into the documentation, so I can't really speak too much of it. But I know that the partners on the CIF project are looking into it, and I'm not sure if GPD is having the presentation on DNRG or on TLS.
DNRG.
DNRG, okay.
Yeah.
Then should be the one from Mark.
Yep. That's right.
Okay, and then Wednesday last session. Let's see. HRPC can't be avoided. Although I'll be very interested on knowing what's going on with global routing operations. That, yeah. What's Mbone? What is Mbone? Why don't you? Why?
It sounds like they can
ask
sit
you to
together
open
with
an-
6 men. You know, even though I don't understand a single thing in V6 ops or even in 6 man, but it's so entertaining to be in the group.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I may sound a little bit like a nerd, but IETF is a lot of fun.
It is actually. It's one of my favorite spaces in the technical community space.
What do these guys do? What does Mbone do?
I mean, I started to pivot to tech like 6 years ago, and I sort of started with really generic technical communities like Google developers or DevOps kind of communities, which is fine, because those are like for skills, skill specific. And then there are also like gender specific type of communities like girls in tech or women in tech and things like that. But since I found IETF, I think IETF is one of those technical communities that just really just takes the ball in terms of culture, the culture that they've cultivated for people to contribute and participate. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. You can be 15, but if you're a crypto genius, you can join. There's no age, gender, or whatever limit, as long as you can.
I've never seen anyone being rejected from participating in IETF except people who have been disruptive.
Yeah, exactly. I have seen people being rejected from IETF, and those are really the disruptive ones, the ones that really like.
It's a personality problem.
Yeah, not because of
Attitude.
your ideas or your identity, but because you were disrupting other people.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
actively so.
actively so. Yeah.
Okay, so Mbone is in fact quite interesting.
Let
So
me
it's
see.
a working group. So they are a forum for coordinating the deployment, engineering, and operation of multicast routing protocols and procedures on the global internet. Also interdomain and single domain. That's cool. So it's multicast stuff, and
Okay.
yeah, that's really cool.
Cast to where?
Multicast. And multicast is basically when you use a single identifier to reach a number of devices at the same time.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. To where or to anywhere? Okay.
Yeah, so you would so if you had 50 machines that you are sending, let's say, a stream of video,
Yeah.
and you could summarize them with one single IP, for instance, at the origin.
Mm.
As that stream reaches
Yeah.
points of subdivision, then you
Yeah.
will get maybe two streams because one is in the US and the other one is in another region.
Yeah.
But your multicast allows you to minimize the amount of bandwidth that you need to use at the source. Instead of having 50 simultaneous connections with 50 machines, you have one single connection with a virtual IP, if you will, that then
Right.
redistributes through
The
the
bandwidth,
routing
yeah.
to the corresponding machines. And in the end, you do have connection with 50 machines because 50 machines will receive the data.
So
But it's kind of a
you're
hierarchy.
looking at like how to manage that traffic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And distribution of protocols and so forth.
Do you want to like touch a little bit on the charter of HRPC, maybe for the viewers who are?
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so probably like a little background on why we are interested in HRPC is because, as a digital rights organization, we want to keep track and also keep updated on anything that's happening on human rights and tech. And so at the IETF, there is a working group called Human Rights Protocol Considerations. Yeah. Which is under IRTF, actually, not IETF, because it is a research group. So, yeah, okay, you pulled out the charter. You want to start?
No, you can have a look at it.
Okay,
Carry on.
yeah. So the charter is quite generic. But the goal is simple, we want to have knowledge on how to standardize or even protocolize anything that strengthens and advocates for the UDHR, sorry, Universal Declaration for Human Rights, and perhaps even to identify any threats that might hinder the goal for universal human rights protection. So, what else can I say about HRPC? I think it's pretty new, right? It's not.
No, they have several years. This was in fact started with Aridoria. Let's
2000.
see history.
Yeah, I'll go to history.
They were chartered in 2015. The
2015.
proposal, and
I mean, relatively new in the history of IETF.
yes,
suppose, yeah.
definitely. And they are about to recharter for change of name. I don't know
really?
if that has been. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a bit. That's a bit controversial.
I see.
Let's see. Where was this? May not be.
Interesting. In 2015, the mailing list changed from HRPC at article19.io to HRPC at irtf.org
Where do you see that? Sorry.
in the history.
In the history, in.
I went all the way down to 2015 March 31. Yeah. So the
15
email
okay.
address change from HRPC at Article 19.
All right, yes, because this was actually something that came from Article 19.
19.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mallory was, I can't remember her position in Article 19, but she was part of, she joined HRPC at some point as chair. I don't know exactly at what time.
She's still the chair now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she is. It's clearly here in the chairmanship. Her and Sophia Celli.
Mm.
And I was checking the tech advisors because I don't know them so much. So Mallory and Sophia. So Avery was involved with this. So was Niels. And I know there is rechartering in terms of ARB review. What was the new name they wanted to give? Human Rights Protocol. I can't remember. It was a much more generic type of name, and I'm also a little bit concerned about it.
Huh? What? Okay.
We'll get into that in another episode. It's a very long story. Yeah, so originally what the HRPC was supposed to was to look into the possible impacts of the of protocols in final users, and what could be the way to minimize those impacts, or how to even embed certain rights directly into the protocols themselves. I believe they had a specific focus on freedom of expression and freedom of association. I think that's somewhere in there in the charter. See if I can find the charter itself. Where is the charter? That is
The
not
charter of?
this. Is this the whole charter of HRPC? Or is there a longer text somewhere? Because I do remember that they had a mention on the specific rights that they were looking for. There you go. Specifically, but not limited to, freedom of expression and the right to freedom of assembly. Those were the two that we're looking into. And so, originally they were trying to find ways to embed those rights into different protocols, into the IETF and so forth. The issue that I've always seen with this is that these qualitative terms do not quantify.
Right.
And do not, you first need to operationalize them.
Yep.
To be able to figure out how you're going to be able to express them in an algorithm. Protocols are nothing but algorithms. And so I never understood exactly what could they achieve aside from maybe from a procedural perspective. And for all I know, they have issued a few drafts here from 2017, which is an informational RFC into considerations from human rights into protocols. And I remember reading it.
How'd you find that?
In documents.
Okay.
In the documents tab. You can see all the RFCs that they have been involved with.
Okay, good.
So there's a number of expired drafts.
Yeah. I have not seen this informational RFC.
And there's
What's the difference with an informational RFC with RFC?
And a what, sorry?
What's the difference between informational RFC and like a regular RFC?
Informational RFC, so good question. I can't remember right now. Those are the different streams.
Oh, wait, I found it. This RFC was published on the IRTF stream. This RFC is not endorsed by the IETF and has no formal standing in the IETF standards process. Okay.
So
I know the difference
I'm
now.
gonna ask our friend ChatGPT.
Right.
So in the context
Holy shit! We have this feature
Yes, of
from
the
when?
IETF. What?
When did? What?
Sorry. Give me the
How do I
list
get there?
of different RFC streams and their meaning. See?
How do I get to the chat GPT?
It's Team GPT, so we can actually share these kind of prompts. IAB stream, RTF stream, independent stream. Okay, and so now is where does the informational stream, no, informational RFC types fall into those streams? IETF. Oh, they can always be informational. Okay. And so in this case, I wouldn't know which one it is. The status doesn't see there's a shepherd here. There might be some more information to look into it. Maybe if you look at the RFC itself, we may see RFC stream IRTF. Right. Okay. And well, makes sense because since HRPC is an IRTF research group, so the stream will be from the IRTF, right? And okay.
You know, it's so funny because I'm looking at this this informational RC. It has the
A280, right?
the frame for a possible taxonomy for digital rights. You can pull up my screen, yeah, like this
Sure.
one. For example, on this number 6.
Yep.
The model for developing human rights protocol considerations.
Mm-hmm.
These are all
Well, that's a taxonomy, yes. But I mean,
exactly. These are categories that are quite critical in terms of like assessing or even auditing whether or not a software or anything is human rights compliant. Possibly, or at least a lot of it. Someone can develop like a metrics from this.
Yeah. So the issue is each of one of those concepts.
Yeah.
Is a whole macro universe on itself.
Yeah, of course.
What do they?
But there's a frame.
Yeah. So 6 to 7, for instance. Okay, it's going to
Open standards. Okay. 48.
I'm just going to do a search.
Yeah.
6 to 7. Open standards. See, the document focused on essentially a list of questions for developers to ask themselves. It's more of a guidance type of thing.
Yeah, it is.
But there isn't.
Of course.
So, a guidance is one thing.
Yeah. Okay. A taxonomy is different. Yeah.
The problem is if you ask me to be accountable for a specific implementation on the specific requirements, I need to know very clearly what those requirements are and how to test that I'm compliant with those requirements.
Yeah.
And these questions are too generic.
Right. Okay.
For that. They are guidance, fair point. They are just, there's no way for me to build a unit test.
Right.
Upon which I can test my code to verify that I'm complying with your requirement.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. For it to be something like that, it has to be a yes or no thing. Do you normatively reference another standard that is not available without cost?
And could you possibly? I mean, it's a fair question.
Yeah.
It is simply that in order to do that, I would have to define what are the sources of standards so they can query them.
Yep.
the identifier of that standard, and there has to be a way where that standard license is published, so that if that standard is referenced in some point in your code, a piece of software can check where that standard comes from, what's the cost of it, and so forth.
Okay.
That's the way that you operationalize that question.
Yeah.
The question itself will not be understood by the code. That's my concern. Okay. Anything else you want to look into HRBC?
No. I think that's a good intro.
All
It's a
right.
very detailed
And
intro, actually.
more than any other group we've done so far. And we will go through research groups and
Yeah.
working groups eventually.
Wait, can we do a time check? Where are we at? And
2:30. It's 5:30 at the moment.
Okay, so we're finishing at 6, right?
We're finishing when we finish.
Really? Yeah, but I gotta go.
Your enthusiasm is contagious.
Yeah, but
We should be done in the next 30 minutes. Yes,
okay.
more or less. My understanding. All right. So if we look at Thursday now, 2 days to go. What would be something that I will be looking into? I would like the traffic engineering architecture and signaling. That sounds a lot sexy to me. I mean, definitely people may want to keep an eye on Quick. I also have my qualms with that. What is Teas doing? Controller, data models. Yang. I keep seeing Yang around. I need to have a look at what the hell is Yang. Anything for you, Mariam, on the Thursday morning session?
No. I mean, V6 ops is always fun.
Yes.
Unfortunately for me, I have no idea what they are talking about.
Well,
I mean, I can take a few months of intense learning to learn, I guess. But yeah, for now.
it always pays off.
And but the session is always fun, regardless if you understand or not. So
what else? Then at 1 to 2:30, definitely IEB open meeting.
yeah.
That's a yes. You want to know what's been going on in the Internet Architecture Board.
Yep.
And I see that there's some liaison updates. In this case, Barry is going to be giving some update there.
I feel like IAB should have their own sessions, like uninterrupted without anyone else. Because
Yeah.
it's such an important session.
Yeah, so people who go for the network management or crypto forum, for instance, would be
Yeah.
stopped from going to the IAB. That
Exactly,
makes a
yeah.
lot of .NET is meeting again.
No, thanks.
This is gonna become a meme. Poor guys. Let's see. Next session. I do like the path computation element. What are they doing? Because I got an idea that I want to test somewhere. Segment routing, stateful PCE. Okay, optical extension. That could be an interesting thing to do. Adaptive DNS discovery, that would be also some interesting stuff to look at. Anything for you that calls your attention, Mariam?
What is path-aware networking?
They don't have any information, and we can look at PANRG. It's another research
What's
group.
that mean? Path-aware.
Who's behind this? Brian Trammell, Jen Linkova,
Properties of
no
the path
idea.
between the
Don't know them.
endpoints. The path is assumed to be invisible, homogeneous, singular, with dynamics solely determined by the connectivity of the endpoints and the internet control plane. Endpoints have very little information about the paths over which their traffic is carried. Yeah, why would they? Do they need to know where they're going in order to go where they're going?
Well, that's precisely one of the points of the way it was originally designed.
Okay, wait. Let's read further. Increased diversity in access networks and ubiquitous mobile gonna have made this architecture assumption about paths less tenable. Really? Oh, okay.
So the premise is the
Multi-path
following.
protocols.
Yeah, the problem is the following. If endpoints cannot control the path,
Yeah.
I hope they don't, at least they can determine the properties of the path by choosing among paths available to them.
Okay.
So my guess is that they would add some headers indicating minimum requirements or latency requirements for different paths to be chosen. So for them to alter or influence the paths that are going to be chosen. I do see some problems here in terms of privacy, though. If that is the case, if you could put some identifiers or preference summarizing in headers, you could be targeting specific paths to be the ones. Okay, let me put it this way. You work as an IT manager in a school. This is an absolutely hypothetical scenario. You work as an IT manager in a school and you want to keep your what's the English? You want to keep all your network on the same brand for management easiness. Of course, if you're a public school, you need to do public tenders. You need to open the tenders to a number of brands. But of course, you don't want all the brands to be able to compete, because all of a sudden you only want brand D.
Right.
And all the others may just be getting in the way by giving you cheaper price. And if you work for a public institution, you need to go for the cheaper pretty much for most of the time. You need to have very specific reasons as to why you wouldn't take the cheaper one.
Right.
The way you do it, well, find a characteristic, find a feature that only brand D has. Some
So
management, whatever.
So it acts as a filter.
Yes. And so you filter out all the competition, even though they're going to be able to submit their proposals, because you're not, that in your requirements, you would say these computers must have this particular graphic card with this particular feature. You justify whatever you want. And turns out the only brand that has that particular graphic card with that particular feature is brand D. So you have, in essence, bent the outcome of the whole process. Okay. And so what I'm saying here is that you can play the same game with these kind of things. If I can establish what is the requirements for my packets to choose one path or another, and I want them to go through a specific path because I want to be able to do inspection, I can prefix them with the only requirements that only the ones who will do the inspection will be able to comply with.
Right.
Again, I might be a bit conspiratorial here, and I got no first-hand information that there's any nefarious intentions behind this. There might be a lot of very good intentions behind this this research group. I'm only saying that that's one of the things that is the first thing that comes to my mind. Path-aware networking.
Yeah.
Also, this is an interesting research group, because normally research groups are not supposed to be coming up with any specific technology or anything, and this sounds to me to be very output oriented as a topic.
I mean, the chairs are pretty much engineers, not just researchers. Jen Linkova is very, very active in IPv6.
Is she?
Yeah.
And this was from 2024 is a very recent 2021. Okay, hold on. History, sorry. Not documents. This was charter in 2017. So it was
It's
proposed.
even younger than HRPC.
Yes, this one is quite young. In September 2017, the charter was approved. So it was charter in 2017.
Yeah.
All right. The problem is the more we are going down the rabbit hole, the more interest we are figuring out and things we should keep an eye on in IETF.
So we're keeping an eye on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Session afternoon. Let's see. Emails, extensions, link state vector, time variant, secure pattern. I think it's Thursday afternoon, and all I'm thinking is to take a break. I wouldn't know which would be an interesting session in there, honestly. I mean, DNS is always a no-brainer to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Anything that calls you out, Mariam?
No. I mean, whenever I don't know when to go to something, I probably go for DNS or routing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good fallback. Then Thursday last session, Jason, another DNS operation. It's the second meeting, I think, for DNS up. Okay, so let's use the filter very quickly. If I filter here, and I look for operations DNS up, and I apply. Yes, they do have 2 sessions on Monday and Thursday. So that was a real-time application of the fantastic filters of this platform. Back to Friday, because it's going to be the last day. Oh, well, so Thursday for those, sorry, there's a last session that we haven't decided. This is an interesting name, Oblivious HTTP Application Intermediation. Wow. I'm not sure I want to check what that means. Routing fat
Security.
trees. Oh yeah, it's from sec. Yeah. I wouldn't have any preference here. I'll probably do DNS ops. And then, of course, if you're a new participant, do the social hour. All right. Last day.
Even if you're not new, you do the social hour because it's free drinks.
Ah, but there's new participants. You cannot make it.
Really?
Yeah, new participants. Social hour is only for them.
Man. Right.
Then machine learning, independent stream, benchmarking, link state routing, automated transport and service. I wouldn't have any specific. Oh, I would definitely do IEB. Independent stream, open meeting. I would. Yeah, oh yes, right. Because this is the independent stream for RFCs. Oh yeah. Yes, I would definitely do this one. Mariam?
Nothing that strikes out to me.
Mm-hmm. And then next one. Source packet routing, always a good thing. Internet congestion control. I'll be interested on seeing who's working on some congestion.
What's the topic? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pacing.
Promises and potential of BBRv3. I got no idea what that is. So what is BBRv3? Let's get a paper award. Okay. Passive and active measurement conference. Seriously, there's some very unexpected conferences out there. The Passive and Active Measurement Conference. Someone came up with this name. Northwestern University.
Nice. Well done. I love seeing acts of creativity like this.
Yeah, I'm not. It's just in my wildest dreams, I would have never thought about a conference named this way. It's awesome.
Yep.
It's funny as hell. I mean, imagine having drinks somewhere, and you just have to explain. So, what do you do in your life? Oh, I'm the actual manager of this conference. You never heard about it for sure. No, just tell me the name. I may have heard about it.
Right.
Passive and Active Measurement Conference. And watch their face as they leave.
Yeah, like I have
To get a
exit
drink.
The chat. Yeah. Network management operations.
Unbelievable.
Typical stuff.
Yes. Oh, bottleneck bandwidth and routing trip. That's what BBR means. Okay. It's congestion control algorithm introduced by Google. It does not rely on signals that are weakly correlated with congestion, packet loss, and transient queue delay. Okay. It characterizes a path using two parameters, bottleneck bandwidth and round trip propagation time. It is designed to converge with a high probability to ClaimRock's optimal operation point. My gosh, I want to know what this is now. What is ClaimRock's optimal operating point? Of course, that's what I want. '79, Leonard ClaimRock showed his operating point was optimal, maximizing delivered bandwidth while minimizing delay and loss, both for individual connections and for the network as a whole. My gosh, this will be just another rabbit hole to go through. Okay, let's not do this today. Okay, and last but not least,
Last session.
yeah, farewell reception. To hell with the rest. No, seriously. Computing in the network research group could be interesting, and definitely interdomain routing is not
Not bad.
is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I want to see their agenda.
Depends on what topic you want to follow.
Yep. And I would say here. Linda is here. I may have met her.
Who?
Linda Dunbar. Why does her name sound so familiar? Her face does not sound familiar to me. I'm from the different ones over here. I cannot put her in my mind. I may have met her somewhere. Go figure.
You know, something just occurred to me that following the IETF is not just the events. Like if you are really into the building of the architecture or the internet or even to maintain it, it's something that you just go through as and when you need to in your line of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to be. I mean, not supposed. You can if you want, but there's no specific obligation to be attending every single meeting. To be always in the specific working group. So once the working group has finished their chartered purpose, they can get dissolved.
Yeah.
And problem is solved. RFC is out. Get to implement.
Yeah.
And so the difference is, in our case, more than producing anything with IETF, with IETF, we are trying to make sure that certain actors do not achieve nefarious purposes or nefarious objectives with this SDO. And then, of course, if you are going to go to the farewell reception, meet us there. There's going to be, as usual, snacks and booze. That's typically what you have in receptions. All right, so that will be all for the agenda. Let me see if there's anything else in my notes until we turn it into an actual template that I wanted to look into it. So yes, hashtag, you can imagine hashtag IETF 120 altogether. The structure of the event we saw, the cost we saw, side activities we saw. We haven't looked into the history of the event. There might be something around there. Future instances, I think it's worth mentioning to have a look at future IETF meetings so you can have an idea of where they're going to be. In case you cannot make it to Vancouver, you should be able to try to have a look into scheduling yourself for next ones. So in the meeting page, there is this, well, you can always have a look at the past meetings. That's to begin with. So the past meetings, you could see, for instance, last one, Brisbane, 998, Prague, 118, so 119, sorry, for Brisbane, 117, San Francisco, 116, Yokohama, and you can look at the proceedings, which will give you a summary of what happened during the event. I'm just going to open it somewhere else. Here you go. Participants and so forth. It's very comprehensive. It's definitely worth keeping an eye on it. You get all the information on the recording of the session, on the agenda minutes, yada, 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 yada. And for upcoming meetings, here you can see the ones that have already been either very advanced in the negotiations for the venue or already have been signed. And so, for instance, here this one to be booked for 118. I believe this is the one for Beijing, because this is Asia. And they run this community survey to make sure that people will be comfortable going to China, essentially. Because there's a number of considerations to be had if you're going to China. So as you can see, they pretty much rotate IETF.
And they should do that kind of surveys for the USA as well. I had a lot of concerns going to the USA. I'm so scared of getting shot.
Fair point.
Like whenever I think of the US right now, I just think of gun violence. It's just insane.
Well, it's not the only thing that happens in the US. They also have big burgers. So you can see that 122. So March next year, it's Bangkok. That one will definitely going to make it. And 125 should also be Asia. Let's keep in mind that when they mean Asia, they mean Asia Pacific.
Yeah.
Because Brisbane was also supposed to be Asia, and of course it ended up being Australia, which is not really Asia per se. So don't take it as and Asia could also be Afghanistan, technically speaking.
Yeah, or even Iran.
Yes, not that I think they will go over there, but you know, it's
Yeah,
Asia is quite big.
It is, yeah. They really need to specify what do you mean by Asia.
Yeah, they probably have an RFC saying so.
All right.
I need that button. RFC. That's gonna be such a soundbite meme. So yeah, you can see the next one is Dublin, Ireland, 121 and 122. And so if you want information about where they might be going and try to plan if you ever can make it, this is where you can have a look at it. What else? materials to prep. Pretty much, if you're going to be going to a session, have a look at the presentations, what are the RFCs they're going to be talking about, and try to read those RFCs in advance. And I think that's it. Today has been quite improvised, as we had in the previous episode, and as it will keep being until we can structure things a little bit differently. Better, yeah. As we do that, you will be given the opportunity to go and check at the episode pages that we will be publishing with GitHub as a backend. So you're going to be able to submit your own updates or submit suggestions or information that we may not have been able to cover, and you just throw a PR and you make it available for everybody.
Cool.
I believe that's all for us today. Mariam, anything you would like to add?
No, have fun in Vancouver.
Thank you. I have one thing to check.
You don't need a visa, right? Did you need a visa?
I need it's not a visa, but it is a communication of
yeah,
I need to let them know that I'm coming.
Right.
And they charge me 7 Canadian pesos for that. What's the weather
Should be around 20-ish degrees, no?
in Vancouver now?
No?
Because I am a very scaredy cat when it comes to cold.
Oh, 18. Not so bad.
Lowest 14 Sunday. Okay, let me see.
Oh. Yeah. It's 25 during the day. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I guess. We'll see about that. Anyway, sounds better than Adelaide in Australia a couple of weeks ago. That was cold. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mariam, for everything. Thanks, Tristan.
Thank you, Tristan.
Say hello. See you on the next one, which will be... I can't remember what's the next episode. Does anyone have the calendar at hand?
No.
Let's just check very quickly here, because it should be
I'm not
on
signed
my...
into my... This is a
No.
research account, right?
Yes, and you should have access to that calendar in your research account, precisely.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at it. I'm having a look. It's loading. So on the month,
Why is it not showing?
so today is this one. So the next one will be on the 3rd of August. Is going to be a Saturday this in this occasion, and we will be discussing about discovering the ITU, the International Telecommunications Union. That's going to be a lot of fun, because if you thought IETF is complex, which it really isn't, yeah, the ITU is just a whole new ballgame. Anyway, meanwhile, have a great time. Register to IETF 121 if you have any 120. Sorry,
120.
if you have any interest on this, we recommend you to keep an eye on SDO's standards affect the technology that you use. They have a lot of influence on how your devices function and ultimately how that may affect you. So you may have all the reasons to keep an eye on them. Meanwhile, we will be watching over as Protocol Watch from the IO Foundation as to what's going on over there, and we will bring to you and expose to you all the shady things that we believe might be happening and try to figure out ways to solve them. Bye, guys.